America built the most powerful bomb ever designed to destroy underground bunkers. It weighs 30,000 pounds. It can punch through 60 meters of solid rock. Iran looked at that bomb and buried its missiles at 440 meters. That is not a gap, that is a statement. And right now, as you watch this, those missiles are still launching. A month into a combined assault from the two most powerful militaries on Earth, Iran has not stopped firing. That is the part nobody expected. And when you see how they pulled it off, you will understand why the Pentagon calls this the hardest military problem on the planet. Here is the question you should be asking. How does a country that spends less than 1% of what the United States spends on defense manage to threaten the entire global economy in the span of a single afternoon? The answer starts with a number: 610,000 active duty troops. To put that in perspective, that is larger than the British, French, and German militaries combined. Add 200,000 trained reserves, and Iran can mobilize over 800,000 fighters. If the Basij paramilitary volunteers are called up, and they have been, that number crosses 1 million. But troop count alone does not explain Iran. What makes this military unlike anything else in the Middle East is its structure. Iran runs two completely separate armies, and they exist for two completely different reasons. The regular army, the Artesh, is what you would expect: 350,000 conventional soldiers. Tanks, infantry, artillery. Their job is simple: defend the borders and make any ground invasion a nightmare. We will get to why that matters in a moment. The second army is the one that keeps intelligence agencies up at night: the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. 190,000 personnel who do not answer to the president, do not answer to parliament, do not answer to any elected official. They answer to one man, the supreme leader. The IRGC runs Iran's missile program, controls the drone fleet, and operates a network of proxy forces across 4 different countries. When you see a headline about Iran striking a target 1,000 kilometers away, that is the IRGC. Every time. Now here's the part that tricks almost everyone. If you look at Iran's air force on paper, it looks like a joke. 250 combat aircraft. Many of them are American, made F-4 Phantoms and F-14 Tomcats that were delivered before 1979. Iran has tried building its own fighters, the Kosar, the Saike. They fly. But an F-14 from the Carter administration is not competing with a 5th-generation stealth fighter. Not in any scenario. So you look at those numbers and you think you know the answer. Iran is weak in the air, easy to dominate. War over in 2 weeks. And that is exactly the conclusion Iran wants you to reach. Because while you were counting jets, Iran was counting something else entirely. Missiles. 2,500 ballistic missiles buried under mountains across the country. For context, Israel's entire Iron Dome system was designed to handle dozens of incoming threats at once. Iran can launch hundreds in a single salvo. The Shahed hits targets 2,000 kilometers away and runs on solid fuel, which means it goes from underground storage to airborne in under 10 minutes. The Khorramshahr carries a 1,500-kilogram warhead 3,000 kilometers, far enough to reach Rome. And the Fateh 2, Iran's newest hypersonic platform, was built specifically to fly faster than any missile defense system on Earth can track. Every American military base in the Middle East sits within range. Every single one. And if you are wondering where Iran keeps 2,500 missiles hidden from the most advanced satellite surveillance on the planet, the answer is the most extraordinary military engineering project most people have never heard of. They call them missile cities. Not bunkers, not storage depots. Cities. Entire underground complexes carved into the Zagros Mountains. We are talking about kilometers of reinforced tunnels, internal rail systems that move missiles from deep storage to camouflaged launch positions faster than a spy satellite can complete its next pass. Living quarters, command centers, assembly lines, where warheads are mated to airframes 500 meters below the surface. The largest known facility sits under Khorramabad in western Iran. It holds more missile silos than any single base in the entire Middle East. Another complex near Yazd is carved into a granite mountain so deep that the most powerful weapon in the American arsenal cannot physically reach it. The IRGC's aerospace commander once said that if they showed the public one missile city per week, the tour would take over 2 years. Here is the question that should bother you. If the United States and Israel have been bombing these sites for a month straight, why are missiles still launching? Because the cities were designed for exactly this scenario. Multiple exits on different mountainsides, rail systems that shuttle launchers to firing positions and pull them back underground before the next drone pass, decoy entrances that absorb bombs while the real tunnels operate deeper inside. Satellite imagery from late March confirms that even after sustained bombardment, several facilities are still discharging 10 to 15 missiles daily from tunnels that appear untouched. But missiles are only one half of Iran's strategy. The other half will hit you where you actually feel it, your wallet. Iran does not need to win a naval battle to cripple the global economy. It just needs to close one waterway. The Strait of Hormuz. 20 to 30% of all the oil and gas consumed on this planet passes through a channel narrower than the English Channel. Iran controls the entire northern coastline. And on Chesham Island, sitting right in the middle of the shipping lane, Iran built underground fast attack boat bases, anti-ship missile batteries, and enough naval mines to turn those waters into a graveyard for tankers. In early 2026, Iran did what decades of analysts warned about. It effectively shut the Strait of Hormuz. Over 150 tankers dropped anchor in open water, unable to pass. Oil futures jumped overnight. If you noticed gas prices climbing this spring, that is not inflation. That is one country, leveraging one piece of geography, holding the global economy hostage. And now the question becomes, how does Iran project power beyond its own borders without sending its own soldiers? And this is where most analyses of Iran's military get it completely wrong. They count tanks and jets and warships. They miss the weapon that actually changed the Middle East: proxies. Iran built a network of allied militias across 4 countries that can strike targets anywhere in the region without a single Iranian soldier crossing a border. Hezbollah in Lebanon, the most heavily armed non-state actor on the planet, with over 150,000 rockets pointed at Israel. The Houthis in Yemen, who proved they could shut down international shipping in the Red Sea with Iranian-supplied anti-ship missiles. Shia militias across Iraq, who have struck American bases with Iranian drones and rockets for years. And operatives embedded in Syria, who have turned that country into a forward staging area for Iranian power projection. This proxy network cost Iran a fraction of what a conventional military expansion would have required, and it gives Tehran something no number of tanks can provide: deniability. Iran can wage war across the entire region while officially being at peace. That network has been degraded over 2 years of intensifying conflict, but it has not been destroyed. And every time one cell is dismantled, the operational knowledge has already spread to 3 others. Now let us talk about the weapon that rewrote the economics of modern warfare: drones. Iran operates nearly 4,000 unmanned aerial vehicles. The Shahed 129 for long-range precision strikes, the Arash-2 with a 2,000-kilometer operational range, the Mohijer 6 for surveillance and targeted kill missions. Here is the math that should keep you up at night. A single Shahed drone costs Iran roughly $20,000 to build. One Patriot interceptor missile to shoot it down costs $3 million. Now imagine 200 Shaheds heading toward a single target. Even if you intercept every single one, and you will not, you just spent $600 million defeating $4 million worth of drones. Iran can build replacements in weeks. This is not a weapons advantage. This is an economic trap. And Iran designed it on purpose. On the ground, on Iran fields, roughly 1,500 main battle tanks and 7,000 artillery pieces across a country the size of Alaska, surrounded by mountain ranges on nearly every border. This force is not designed to invade anyone. It exists to make one thing true: a land invasion of Iran would be the most costly ground campaign since the Second World War. The Iran-Iraq War already proved this. 8 years. Over 500,000 Iranians killed. The regime did not fall. The military came out harder and more experienced than it went in. Now here is something most people completely miss about Iran's military, and it might be the most counterintuitive fact in modern defense. The sanctions worked, just not the way anyone intended. Iran's defense budget is roughly $8 billion. The United States spends $886 billion. Saudi Arabia spends $75 billion. On paper, Iran should not be able to compete with anyone, but the sanctions that were designed to starve Iran's military of foreign weapons systems forced Iran to build everything domestically. No import markups, no dependency on foreign spare parts. No billion-dollar maintenance contracts with Western defense contractors. Iran manufactures its own missiles, its own drones, its own armored vehicles, its own naval mines, and its own electronic warfare systems. The sanctions created the most self-sufficient military-industrial base in the Middle East. That was not the plan, but that is the result. So where does this stand right now? After a month of the most intense aerial campaign since the 2003 invasion of Iraq, Israel claims it has destroyed 330 of Iran's estimated 470 ballistic missile launchers. Missile launch rates dropped 86% in the first 4 days. Multiple senior IRGC commanders have been killed. The air defense network has taken significant damage, but the IRGC says 75% of its missile capability remains unused. Fewer than 30% of missile cities have been activated, and the firing continues. These claims cannot be independently verified, but missiles are still hitting targets in Israel and across the Gulf. The Strait of Hormuz remains effectively closed, and every attempt to map what remains under those mountains has produced more questions than answers. This is the problem Iran was designed to present. You can bomb the surface, or you can crater the entrances. You can destroy what emerges into daylight, but you cannot reach what sits under 500 meters of rock that formed 250 million years before the first human walked the earth. Iran did not build its military to defeat a superpower. It built its military so that no superpower can afford to defeat it. The real question is not how powerful Iran is. The real question is what happens when the bombs stop falling and those tunnel doors open again. If this breakdown changed how you think about Iran, subscribe now. Next week, the weapon that uses no explosives, crosses no borders, and has already destroyed more Iranian military hardware than any airstrike. You will not want to miss it.